Good morning, everyone. What we're going to do this morning is make a shadow box card. I've done two up already so that you can get an idea of what we're doing. A card then that looks three-dimensional, you see, but which can be flattened out to be sent in the mail. There's another one, the same sort of thing. You'll see that I've got an A4 sheet of paper. I've cut it in four. I'm going to use 2 out of the 4 quarters of the sheet of paper. I've got out my stamp set. I've got the Garden Whimsey stamp set from the main catalog, and I'm also going to use the Fresh Cuts from the new mini catalog. I have 2 ink pads out, certainly Celery and Pretty in Pink. I have a handful of markers that I'm going to use to color the image in the middle of the card. Here it's the tulip. On the other one, it's the butterfly. I have 30 centimeters of the new ribbon that's in our mini catalog. And plus the regular tools. I've got the stamping scrub that I'm going to use to tie my ribbon around. I have, of course, my snail, my band of adhesive, a bone folder, and my snips. You know, basic things. The other thing that we're going to need, oh, I forgot to mention the tea party paper that's also in the new mini catalog. What we're going to use to cut the oval shape out of the front of the card here is the colossal. I'm not sure exactly how you say it in English. You know, I'm sure that you all recognize this, however you pronounce it. And that's what I'm going to use to cut out the front of my card. Now, before we get started, the first thing I'm going to do is mark with my bone folder and a ruler. You see I've already done one side here. I've marked 1 centimeter and 2 centimeters in from all of the edges. This then will be my front. I'm going to use this thingamajig, however you call it, colossal. And I'm going to line up nice and straight the oval, cut around 1/2 and the other half, and then of course just use my little paper snips to clip out the rest. And there, my oval is cut. Back of the top piece, fold in and then fold out on both sides. Fold in and fold out on the back of the top. I'm going to leave the back of the card flat for the time being. The next thing I'm going to do is cut off a little piece. You see here in the card that I've used, I have a piece of the tea party paper on the bottom. It's 10.5 centimeters wide, and I'm just going to rip off a little tiny bit that I'll use in the background. There, it's going to go here. But before I glue that in place, of course, I'm going to stamp the background with the, I should have looked at the name of this stamp set in English. I didn't think about doing that ahead of time. This is the one that I'm going to use from the mini catalog, and I'm stamping it with the green, the celery, the certainly celery. So, there we go. Now you see I've off-centered it. It's a little bit towards the top. I've done that on purpose, of course, because this is going to come and cover up the bottom part. I'm just going to glue that into place using my snail. There we go. I'll set that aside for the time being. I've got a scrap of Whisper White, and with my handful of markers, the colors that match, of course, the paper, I'm going to color, I'm using the tulip, I'm going to color the back of the tulip. Of course, I always start with the lightest colors and move towards my darker colors. Now, I'll just blow on that, stamp it onto my Whisper White, which gives me that. And I've cut that out ahead of time just to save a little bit of time. I'm going to use some dimensionals to hold that in place. There we go. And I'm going to put my flower in place. There, so the back of the card is more or less ready. I'm going to fold in and back out on the back. Okay, using my fold lines. In and back out. Well, I suppose before I did that, I could have placed my band in place. That might have been a little bit easier. There we go. So, in and up. And our sticky adhesive band is in place as well. I'm going to work on the front of the card. What we're going to do first is stamp the background. I'm going to use one of the stamps out of the Fraîcheur Exquise with my pretty in pink ink pad. I'm going to stamp the little flower out of the same stamp set onto a scrap of saffron, okay, that I'm going to cut out. There are two of them are already ready to go. I'm going to tie the knot in my ribbon, and I'm going to use the message on a scrap of Whisper White that I'll cut out as well. And we'll just assemble all of that. All I have to do is just going to refold on my lines, and I'm going to then stick the bottom to the top, and that'll be the finished card. And there, my last little shadow card is complete. Hope you liked it and have fun creating. Bye-bye.